So, what if I tell you you have been given a project and you will be the project leader, but the condition is that you won't have authority to approve time, cost, or the scope. You won't have any approve, you won't have any authority, but you are the project leader. How do you feel? And then you think that who really will run the project? Is it really possible? Can it happen? Yes, it can happen. I tell you, it can happen. And who can make it possible? Neither me nor you. Governance can make it possible because it depends upon the governance of the organization. What governance is existing in a particular organization, that will decide whether you will be a leader with authority or a leader only with responsibility. Governance is very important. Now, the question comes, who is governance? What is governance? What is the actual definition of governance? We speak several times about governance. We talk a lot of things about governance, and we mostly we discuss about governance issues. But what exactly is the governance? In the language of project management, it says that governance is the mechanism through which an organization sets its objectives, monitors its performance, manages its risks, and ensures that it compliances with safeguarding stakeholder interest. So this is what the governance definition is. Now, when we talk about this organizational level governance, the prime aspect of this governance, because the purpose of the governance is to run the organization properly. And the very first step of running the organization when we get into the framework of governance is the risk governance. As I said, if you are a leader without an authority, it can be possible if the government wants it. When coming back to this framework of governance related to those risks, see, if the leader is not able to take decision, it's a risk. So when we come back to this framework of governance risk management, here we actually review or we formulate this framework in three different levels. So this is the risk governance level. In the risk governance level framework, we basically work on three different categories. We decide the risk appetite of the organization, the risk tolerance of the organization, and the risk threshold of the organization. If you have these three things properly laid down, properly understood, properly put into the policy, you won't have such kind of governance where the governance itself will create risks. So when we talk about the risk appetite, this is what? This is the overall willingness to take risk at the strategic level. That okay, this much of risk we can accommodate. What is the risk tolerance then? This is the next level. After the risk appetite, then you have the risk tolerance. This is the acceptable variance around objectives. The objectives which you have created, what are the level of risks surrounding these objectives? So that is your risk tolerance. And then the risk threshold. This is that specific trigger point requiring action. That means when my risk level reaches a particular point, the trigger should click. So, the governance of risk, governance risk management will have three major aspects: the risk appetite, the risk tolerance, and the risk threshold. Now, it depends upon the organization. As I asked you the first question, it depends upon the organization that how best and how beautifully you handle this, and how risk appetite influences risk response. Because what authority is being given to the leader, it's basically a risk response. So you have either a high appetite, you have a low appetite. You have a organization where you have you have a higher appetite, you will see liberty of the leaders will be more. But when you come to a small organization, the appetite is less. Hence, the liberty will be less. So it depends on us in which organization are we working. We have to understand the real framework of this risk governance, overall the governance framework of the company, and accordingly we have to proceed. Idea of this video was to let you know sometimes these aspects actually governed by the governance. Have a pleasant evening. Bye bye.